Baki Hanma Season 2, was it good? Let's find out. So, I'll say it right now, as someone who read this arc in the manga a few years ago, and as someone who regularly reads it and covers it on this channel, I believe to this day that Baki is still much better in manga form compared to the anime. This isn't because the adaptation is bad or that the animation is complete dog shit, it's more so how the manga actually lays out the story. For an example, the anime adapted everything from this arc. There wasn't any scene or any moment that was removed, which of course is a very good thing, but the way the story cuts from fights to whether it be other people's perspectives, the narrator explaining something, that is very obvious and somewhat annoying to a large amount of people who consume anime. You're trying to enjoy a fight, we cut to an explanation that lasts like a minute of a technique, we have maybe 2 more exchanges and then a character talking about something else. When reading, you're able to get through this much faster, making it easier to consume, and if you want, you can kinda skip those parts. Of course, come back to them as some pretty cool information is revealed in those. However, if you just want the fight, you can easily skim through it when reading the manga compared to the anime, making it seem dragged at various points. That's really my main criticism, nothing really at the anime itself as just adapting what it is. Pretty much just saying it's not really the best story laid out in anime form. But one thing for sure is that this arc is once again peak. Ever since the first time I read it like 4 or 5 years ago, it's turned out to be one of my favourite, with some of my favourite fights in the whole series, namely Jack vs Pickle, and the anime definitely provided what I wanted. As a fan, I was thrilled watching it. Some moments were absolute peak. Of course, some moments did, as I mentioned earlier, feel dragged. Regarding Yujiro throughout the season, I think he was done quite well, definitely a highlight. He didn't have a major role, but the moments he did appear were quite great, namely his strength test with Pickle, the whole moment he had with Obama in the final moments of the season, then of course the drinks he had with the likes of Dr. Orochi after Katsumi was defeated by Pickle. Those moments were quite hype, and everything regarding Yujiro, he stole the show. The voice acting regarding the English dub and the Japanese of course was solid. Regarding the way they handled the main fights throughout the series, I think they were done decently well. Not to the level extreme like blowing me away or anything like that, just what was kinda expected from the Baki anime series on Netflix. Retsu vs Pickle is probably the least impressive, but even in the manga that was probably the least liked out of the main fights. Katsumi vs Pickle was quite hype. The seeing the crowd around and the energy the anime actually had given to this fight was done very well. I honestly may have actually preferred it in the anime than to the even manga. Definitely a fight that got enhanced by the soundtrack and just the energy in the air throughout the entire fight. When it comes to Jack vs Pickle, this was probably my favourite fight when it came to the manga. It was okay, I definitely prefer the manga version of the fight. A few key moments that the anime didn't do as well was, for example, Jack talking about him gaining strength. I don't think the anime's depiction of this did quite as well as the mangas. For example, if you compare this screenshot to this panel, Jack just looks way more badass as one of my favourite panels throughout the entire Baki story. Also, the legendary uppercut. Of course, the anime was going to have this in motion, but just the build up and long drawn out paneling we got in the manga of this scene, I much preferred that. However, all of this doesn't really matter because the greatest kiss in manga history was adapted amazingly. Let's go, boys. Then of course, one of the greatest moments in the whole series, this was done well, absolute peak. With this reminded me of a reason of why this arc is actually so good. Let me break down a scene for you. After Baki got clapped by Pickle for the first time, he's training and he can't actually imagine Pickle's true power. Getting a little crazy over the thrill of actually fighting someone that strong. A key moment to understand his character and how he's not really solely about getting stronger to defeat his father at this point. He's kinda changing, saying that he will actually pull up on Pickle unannounced and go all out, preparing to do so, calling the old man and trying to schedule the fight, to realize Jack has done the exact same thing and being absolutely humiliated in that regard. This whole scene is probably one of my favorite aspects of Baki outside of the fighting. Seeing how hyped he is to fight this person and then getting cucked by another fighter pulling up in a crazy way that he did. Absolute peak. Before I continue today's video, make sure to subscribe for more Baki content that's I provide on this channel. It's greatly appreciated. The anime as a whole did provide some clarification for various translation issues we had with the manga. For example, what really happened between Yujiro and Pickle in their strength test scene, what Kakyu meant regarding some certain lines during the Katsumi and Pickle fight, and a few other instances that make Pickle look stronger than he did in the manga version, and in others weaker than what he did in the manga version. Just some clarification, as we don't really have an official translation for this part of the manga currently at the recording of today's video. And now the final fight of the season to talk about, Baki himself versus Pickle. I've seen a lot of people, whether it be commenting on my videos or just at various points on the internet like my Discord, complaining about this fight being not as good. Yes, the anime had drawn out this fight way longer than any of the others. This is of course due to once again all the explanations. We would get an exchange between the two, then we would either flash back to Pickle facing dinosaurs, Retsu explaining something that happened, or Hanayama also doing the same. That was the main theme of this fight from start to end for the 3 episodes it actually went for. So yes, I viewed that as a problem, but as a whole, that's pretty much what Baki is. The insanity of Baki, over explaining random things. It is an appeal of the story as a whole. I would also like to say the opening and ending were quite fire this season, definitely some of the best we've gotten regarding the Baki anime, and I would say Baki Hanma Season 2 was better than Season 1, the Oliver arc. In the manga of course I much prefer it still, but Pickle's absolutely goated, and I'm very happy how he was portrayed in anime form. I did see a decent amount of people complaining or pointing out how strange the weird moans and groans Pickle was given throughout the series. That is to be expected of our caveman dinosaur boy, so it didn't really bother me too much. One thing I was kinda surprised about, but I kinda found out when the initial trailer came out, is that they included the reporter scene in the season. If they were going to remove something, I thought this would be it, and I wouldn't even blame them and wouldn't even mind if they did remove it, but no, all of that was shown, so I guess they don't care. Baki's perfect adaptation, every scene will be shown in the future of the story. I guess we could already expect that with Baki and Kozue's scene back in the prison arc that we got in the anime. I'll probably rate this a 7 out of 10. This is what people on a poll my community tab voted for. I'll probably be around this range as well. It wasn't perfect, but as a fan I greatly enjoyed it. Let me know down below if you're an anime only and your perspectives on this arc for viewing it for the first time. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, the second part of the season, the Baki vs Yujiro fight and some other little training stuff is coming out on this date in August this month. Absolute hyped. Stay tuned for more content. Shout out to these Patreon mad lads. That's it guys. Peace.